Hello there, Winsome McLean here. Good to have you. Wanted to continue the conversation around breaking the silence, the mental health of the entrepreneur. And today I want to talk about rest. I know that we started the conversation talking about stress. And so now I want us to really think through this rest factor, because for many people, rest is something that we cannot afford to skip. And so let's go to the research. Research shows that poor sleep is one of the top issues for founders, for entrepreneurs, according to Forbes in 2023. And many entrepreneurs feel guilt for resting. About 57% of entrepreneurs admit that they feel guilty when they are not working. And so, what are some of the predictors or indicators that rest might be an issue or a concern for us? Well, if we buy into this cultural conditioning around hustle culture, meaning that the more that I hustle, the more I increase my worth or my value, if we're buying into that, then rest might be a problem for us. This FOMO, this fear of missing out, or the fear of losing ground, right? So if I step back and if I rest, then I'm going to miss something. I'm going to miss a deal. I'm going to miss a sale. I'm going to miss right. So that whole concept around I can't, slow down, because if I slow down, then I might miss my moment. And then also we have this internalized belief, and we're going to have to breathe through this one, but this internalized belief that rest is laziness. Take a breath. Rest is not laziness. I know many of us may have grown up in, households where if you were lounging around, then you had to go find something to do, right? This concept around resting or just being was sometimes like demonized, right? And so walking into an entrepreneurial space with that kind of echoing in the back of your mind can then cause you to exemplify that internalized message that if I rest, then that means that I am lazy. One of my summer reads this summer was a book entitled Rest is Resistance. And so I want us to kind of look before we go to, what do we do about this issue of rest? I wanted to pull some quotes from that book. And if you ever get an opportunity to read it, I recommend that you absolutely, tap into it. But a couple of quotes that really stood out for me from this book. It said that we must believe that we are worthy of rest. We don't have to earn it. It is our birthright. It is one of our most ancient and primal needs. And so the use of rest is important because we need to know that we are worthy of it, right? And so we're going to counter the guilt and the shame about rest by affirming that rest is non-negotiable for our well-being. Okay, it is non negotiable. It is an absolute necessity. Another quote that really stood out to me is treating each other and ourselves with care isn't a luxury, but an absolute necessity if we're going to thrive. Resting isn't a afterthought, but a basic part of being a human. Again, let that sink in for us. Rest is an absolute necessity when it comes to tackling burnout. And so this is not this is not a luxury. Rest is a necessity. Another quote that I like is, "You are worthy of rest. You don't have to earn rest. Rest is not a luxury, a privilege, or a bonus that we must wait for once we burn out." I just want to repeat that. I want to repeat that. You are worthy of rest. You don't have to earn it. Rest is not a luxury, a privilege, or a bonus that we must wait for once we are at burnout. And so I want us to be able to reframe productivity, right? I.e., it doesn't require withholding rest, right? Productivity does not say I withhold rest from myself. And so rest has to be a part of our sustainable output. I want to do one more quote, maybe two more, one more. Productivity should not look like exhaustion. The concept of laziness is a tool of the oppressor. A large part of your unraveling of capitalism will include becoming less attached to the idea of productivity and more committed to the idea of rest as a portal to just be. And so we have to shift this paradigm from hustle to health, right? We have to understand that we have to demonstrate rest because it is important for our well being. And we must release the shame that we feel when we rest. Okay. Shame is often a barrier to our resting. And so we must be able to release that shame that is connected to resting. So, what is the solution here? We want to normalize the rhythm of rest. We want to seek out a daily pause. We want to be able to engage in Sabbath practices, right? We want to investigate our sleep hygiene. What do we do before we go to sleep? Are we, disconnecting from the cell phone? Are we turning off the television? Are we drinking a cup of tea? What is that nightly routine that we employ that will promote rest? Okay. I want to suggest that we reframe rest as a strategy to fuel our performance, right? Rest is a strategy that fuels our ability to show up in our business. And I want you to consider introducing micro rests. Is there any space within your schedule where you can begin to schedule rest? That could just be not necessarily taking a nap or sleeping. That could just be a nature walk. That could be, stepping away and taking some breaths. That could be just stepping away from the screen, right? And so remember that rest is spiritual. God commands us to rest. Rest is holy. It is essential. And God gives us a blueprint of taking that time, that sabbat, taking that time to rest. And so again, I just want to encourage us to ensure that we are resting. If we want to be more productive, if we want to show up fully for ourselves, for our business, then take rest seriously. Again, this is not a luxury, this is a necessity. And so I hope that that encourages you to reframe, redefine this concept of rest. And if you know that you are not doing well in this area, I really encourage you to take your rest serious. It prevents burnout, it keeps you grounded and connected to the work when you are well rested. All right. Appreciate your time. There is also a gift that is connected to this video, so please download it and use it for your benefit. And we will finish up, I think, our last conversation for this week around the concept of productivity. So see you in the next video, and I pray that you prosper in all that you do. I'll talk to you soon.